Good evening, class. I hope that you have already installed the VirtualBox as well as the GNS3 VM. Now let's start understanding how the GNS3 works. Double click on the Oracle VirtualBox Manager and we click on the GNS3 VM. Let it boot up. Please use the default password which was already given. And now we are on the Windows desktop screen. Click on the GNS3. As it boots up, showing us the GNS3 screen along with the it's about to connect to the local host, which we have already configured on the previous video. Now let's do our lab 1, and as I show you how we use the routers to configure in GNS3. So open a new project and the name lab 1. Just click OK. Now, so on your left hand side of the screen, if you hover your cursor, it would show that browse routers. So just click on it, and if you see, there are 4 different Cisco router that have been already set up with their images. And similarly in the switch, we have the default switches. Currently we'll be only using the Ethernet switch. Now in the end devices, we're going to use the VPS, which acts as our desktop computer. Now this is something with regards to the ASA firewall if we need it, but we are not going to use any such in this course. And this is the connector that I'll show you as I'm adding the appliances. Well, this would show up all the devices, just in case it's easy for you guys to go ahead and drag and drop. How do we start working? So we could use any of these appliances. I shall use the C3745 or the C3000 Cisco series. Now we click on it and drag and drop it. Okay, here it is. Now let's use a switch. Use an Ethernet switch and a computer too. Virtual PC. Let's close this window as we do not need that. Now let's have it in a straight line. Now we use the connector. Before that, let me show something on the router. So as you see, it contains the information. As I double click on the router, it gives us the information of the router, which is the default name is R1, the platform which is on the IS image path, and if you go into the memory, it will show us that it has 256 MB RAM. While if you go to slots, now over here if you see, it says 9600 FE. So FE means fast Ethernet port. Let's go back. If you hover your cursor, as you could see in the information that is highlighted, slot 0 hardware is GT96100FE with 2 ports. So it has 2 fast Ethernet ports on slot 0. Now let's double click back on it. Go back to slots. Over here, as you could see, there's slot 1 to 6. So here we can actually add additional ports onto the router in case if we need one more. But for this lab, we just need 1 port on the router, so we leave it with this. Okay, so just click OK. Now use the connector, that is the link. So we use highlight. As we right click on the router, it would show up the ports that we can connect to. So I'm going to use the first Ethernet, fast Ethernet 0/0, connect to the switch Ethernet 0, and from the switch I'm going to connect to the virtual PC. Please note, the ones in green means the ports have already been occupied on the device. The ones in red are free to be used. Hence, we are using Ethernet 1 to connect to virtual PC. Alright, now our connections are done. Just hit escape so that we'll have back our arrow key. Now click on the green button, the triangle, to start the routers, the appliances. Let's double click on the router to see the boot process. So it booted and ready to be used. Alright, R1. First and foremost, currently we are in the view mode. This is called view mode, where you can view the configuration of the routers, like show flash, enter. Okay, there's no device available at this moment. Let's type in show IP interface brief. As you could see, the 2 ports, it shows up as down. As you see, the protocol is down. The status is administratively down because we have to manually configure them and mention the command no shutdown in order to have it up and running. So let's configure our lab 1, which is about configuring a port on the router and to the switch. So in order to configure, we have to go into the configuration mode, and we use configure terminal as our command. Hit enter. Now, since we have to configure the fast Ethernet 0/0, the command is interface fast Ethernet 0/0, enter. IP address 192.168.1.1. The subnet would be /24, so 255.255.255.0. Enter. No shutdown. This is most important in order to have your port up and running. As you see in a moment, it would show up. It's up and running. As it says, the interface change state is up. Just to confirm, let's exit to go to the view mode again. Now show IP interface brief, enter. There you go. It has an IP address, and then manually it's up. The status is up with the protocol up. Please note that there are two ways to save your configuration. The first one is copy running config to startup config to running config. Enter, and you can give a file name lab1. Okay. Well, the easiest command is write. It would by default write it onto the memory. Now let's go and configure the virtual PC. IP address, the command for this is IP 192.168.1.2. Again, the subnet would be 255.255.0, and we have to provide the gateway, because through the gateway the PC would only respond. Now it's saved. Let's save it. Now let's ping back to our gateway. 92.168.1.1. There you go. It's pinging. Let's go back to our router. Ping 192.168.1.2, which is our PC, and we have success. 5 exclamatory marks. The success rate is 100%. 5 out of 5. Yep, so that's how is the lab one. That's how you configure a basic router, a switch with a computer. Remember that we are using a dummy switch for this course, so we do not have any configurations to be done on the switch. The only configurations are on the router and the switch, and the computer. More commands we have. For example, show. If you, and most importantly, if you hit question mark, if it would give us a list of view commands that we can use during our configurations. Also under config, if you have any doubts, please use the question mark and it would give us the list of options. Also, I also shared the document which contains the configuration commands, which you could use it for your future configurations in the other labs. And that should be it. Thank you for your time.